Hey guys, Rob Murphy from Holistic Healing Choices here. Now today, like literally today, I was able to be part of something very, very special. So I do have a history of military related background or work, as well as like people in my direct family who have served in world wars. So I was very privileged to be part of being able to find and recognise some World War One veterans who had been through, who who knows what, but had come back to Australia, had what we now call PTSD or shell shock, and had been admitted to an asylum where they spent the rest of their days until, some of them were so crazy they didn't even know their name. So once they expired, they put them in a hole in the ground, never to be known, their family not notified, anything at all. Like they'd got back from the war and they sort of had no idea what had happened to these people. So I was able to be part of a ceremony to help celebrate that. And one of the first things too, it's one of the first times I've actually done a firing salute during a parade. So that was also a pretty cool experience. But it really got me thinking. About how far we have actually come in terms of medical stuff towards PTSD and just the recognition that it gets. So, every man and their dog can be recognised with PTSD nowadays. And that can be a good thing and a bad thing, and we'll get into all of that. But thinking back to those times, like they had no idea what was going on. So the people who stayed back home, having these people who have seen these horrific things, half their mate's head going missing right next to them. The magnitude of that, we don't know. And especially back in those days, they didn't have the movies, they didn't have the previous experience of all this sort of stuff, the living in the trenches, anything whatsoever. These guys willingly went over there, most of them, or they were conscripted in afterwards, like unwillingly as well, going over, risking their life, maybe coming back, who knows, because it just wasn't a known thing. Whereas these days, chances are it's a lot safer than it used to be anyway, and we have a lot more medical interventions and stuff to be able to help people along the way, and we've got the experience to be able to deal with things as they happen. So these guys coming back and then not being able to relate to anyone in that way as well. So they've seen these things, it's changed them. Like, how could you not change if you're in that sort of situation? And then just, you're insane. Off you go, madhouse, from whoever. And it just blows my mind thinking about that in this day and age where everybody can be diagnosed with PTSD or have some sort of trauma, and you can get on the medication, you can get psychiatric help. It's readily available to us now. How far we've come from that. But also too, there are people who do sort of milk the system, or so anything can give you PTSD. It can be, say, a dog attack from when you're very young, and gives you that fear of dogs, but it can also trigger things as well. And a lot of people do milk it, but there are a lot of genuine cases, and a lot of genuine cases that sort of come up when we don't expect them. I remember listening to the book Your Body Keeps a Score, about where boyfriend and girlfriend, the girlfriend was teasing the boyfriend, suggestively putting her fingers in his mouth, saying, "You'd be a good little slut," and it absolutely triggered something in him, and he started yelling at her and got really aggressive and really confrontational, and then immediately started crying afterwards because he didn't know what the hell came over him. Obviously some sort of lock trauma in there as well, and that's another big point as well, is that lock trauma. This is the stuff that now we have the ability to deal with most cases. It's just about being able to actually seek that help as well. So if you have an emotional experience like that, don't discredit it. Don't look at the other way. There probably is something a lot deeper going on. Even if you're not ready to admit it, know that it's there. And when you are ready for that help or get the assistance from it, then yeah, absolutely, reach out to someone. If anybody these days tells you that you're crazy or it's all in your head, well, yeah, it is all in your head, because those previous encounters or whatever didn't exist anymore. But being in your head too, it's actually affecting you and your biochemistry in a certain way. There is treatment available to help that as well. So doctors or whoever, because I know so many people that come to us in what we do and say, I know I'm not right, but the doctors keep telling me it's all in my head because these pills didn't work. You know, the blood tests show nothing, but the blood tests are only going for specific things as well. But yet these alternate treatments seem to help these people. But that's that thing once again, that medical profession where it doesn't fit in this box. So, too hard basket. Go to the asylum. You're going to have to deal with this by yourself. It's all in your head. So in a lot of ways, we've come a long, long way, a hell of a long way in being able to help these people. But in some similar senses as well, we're just right back there. Trust your gut. If you know something's not right, find someone who is willing to help, willing to actually listen to you as well. This isn't just to rag on doctors or anything like that in the medical profession, because they do as much as they can and can understand as well. But the whole point of this video is just a look back at what we've been able to actually achieve in terms of being able to provide help, provide support for people, and get ourselves back as a community. And for the people who use it as a bit of an excuse as well, maybe take a look at what some of the other people have been through. I'm not comparing the apples and the oranges here, but really think like, if I'm constantly saying you have to be aware of my triggers or my PTSD or my whatever case may be because of mum yelled at me when I was a kid, I got broken up really hard with by someone in a really bad way, those sort of things that do happen to most people, have a look at the perspective of that versus some of these other things, and have a look at the help available to you. Stop being a victim is the main message there. If it is something that I've seen a lot of things where people get these minuscule things happen, but it's huge to them, which, yes, reference levels and everything else as well. I get all of that. But the whole thing is, they're sitting there being the victim in that mode. This is so hard for me, blah, blah, blah. I can't do anything. Everybody do everything else around me. I need, this isn't my responsibility. Take it from me, sort of thing. And that's just rubbish a lot of the times these days. So take the responsibility. Go do something for yourself. Start contributing a little bit to society as well. Use that, maybe even, as a way to help other people through a similar situation, if you can climb your way out of that hole. But anyway, guys, I'm just going to leave it with that. I was just so, wow, 97 people from all over Australia, because we had an asylum in my hometown here that went 100 years or so without any recognition, anything at all. And now they're actually getting proper burial sites, proper headstones and everything. It's something that you can't look back and say too much, because these people didn't know any better back then. But it's something that it's about time, pretty much, to recognise this. But anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it with that. I'm Robert Murphy. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.